course, one thing to remember is that if the market eats this up, meaning like if the market digests this news, like remember the day Apple had earnings out, like, you know, the market actually bought it up pretty quick, not the company, but the general market. So if the market digests these earnings and starts to rebound, then we'll know to get aggressively long. If it doesn't, then we'll play the ORB short. So today, because of this, we'll have to watch like two different aspects of it. Number one, it's a pretty big move down. So we'll have to see, like, wait out maybe the first 5-10 minutes. If the market starts to ORB to the downside, we'll get short. But there is a shot, just because it's just one company earnings that have caused this last push, that the market digests this, and because of its trend that it's been going, and then we start rebounding back to the upside. So we're going to have to play kind of both ways. We won't know exactly how the market reacts to the NVIDIA earnings, but what we'll have to do is really watch the levels here. So you can see you got a little bit of support here, 163. The bigger support is more like in this 161 zone. You know, frankly, because we've been up so much, it'd be nice to have like a bigger pullback, you know, to that level. Hey, Marv, how you doing? Good to see you in class tomorrow, by the way. So hopefully we get down into this area pretty quickly. I think that would give us a little bit more positive reward to risk. And of course, if it broke under, it's going to break under. Let's take a look at the SPY. You know, similar. We've been kind of just sitting here at this two-tapper for a little bit. And we're coming back into like a decent level of support over here. We'll have to see how this thing reacts. It doesn't, you know, just because the NVIDIA earnings are getting dusted does not necessarily mean it's going to take down the market with it. It could if another company starts to warn, or if it starts to do a waterfall effect. That can always happen, but that's not necessarily the case. So we'll just have to be kind of careful of it. AMD's getting rocked too. Now AMD, see, like, you've got to be careful shorting AMD because AMD's not the one that warned. But the other part is that the daily chart on AMD is really sitting on like two levels of support, right? So if you get a couple levels of support and you're trying to short it, it doesn't work as well, where like NVIDIA is just cleaner, right? And so, man, please wait for us. So, you know, we'll have to be, it'd be nice if they waited for us, wouldn't it? Jeez, don't they know we're teaching class right now? Another one to keep an eye on is this Caterpillar. Hey, Ray, what's up, baby? Bruce, how you doing? Another one to watch is this CAT. If it gets under this last MA, I think this one's going to have a little bit of downside too. CAT doesn't move that fast, so that's just something to be mindful of. CAT's not like one of those stocks where you'd be like, oh my gosh, this thing is like just a huge trender, right? Or like it's a huge rager. This one's going to be a little bit more slow and steady due to the float, but it can still move. It's just not a tech stock. So, right, farm equipment is never as sexy as like, right, artificial intelligence, you know. So just keep an eye on that. This Vale is been getting just dusted because, you know, these guys in Brazil over here let some dam explode, and they took out like a couple of indigenous villages or something. So they're in all sorts of heat right now. So they suspended their dividends, their buybacks. I'll be watching this one to see if it kind of has like more of an overcorrection though, and, you know, gets down, you know, really gets dusted. And the reason for this is like, yeah, it's a $100 billion company. You know, they're gonna toss off like a couple $100 million to, you know, fix their damages, buy off some government employees, and right, they'll be back on to committing more crimes. So, you know, these things can tend to have overreactions. You know, because it's only been one big down day so far, I'm leaning short. But at some point, if it keeps getting dusted, we'll probably get a sweet snapback on it, just due to the fact that, you know, in the end, it's kind of one of those things of, you know, you tend to shoot both ways a little bit aggressively. Oscar's going to have fun with the cat today, it looks like. Let's take a look at the general watch list. Now, the general watch list is going to have to be adjusted because, obviously, with the NVIDIA earnings coming out, you know, all the tech stocks are getting kind of smoked down, right? So, like, you can see this Roku's gapping down. What we'll need to see is, like, I'll keep some of these major tech names, right, our high beta names. I'll put them on a separate list, right? And we'll start watching. If they start to show signs of rebounding at the open, look for 1, 2, 3 patterns, right? Whenever you're looking for a potential rebound off something that's like been strong, but then it gaps down a little bit, based on something that's not earnings of its own, then what you want to be doing is looking for the 1, 2, 3 pattern at the open. The 1, 2, 3 pattern is really probably the best out of the reversal patterns we have. That's probably the best one that we trade. So just something to be kind of mindful of. You know, a lot of people have been asking me about the natural gas or whatever. I kind of got on my ban list because I was having some bad behavior on it the other day. I mean, it looks okay. It's kind of one of those things. It gaps up every day, right? So, you know, it gaps up every day. I find it actually trades much better when it gaps down, and then you get like way better rebounds. But I haven't found as fun like when they gap up. You know, I've seen a lot of times they just reverse over. But the gap down days are when you get like really some sick rebounds. You can see here. So just something to kind of be mindful of. Who knows how it acts. These things have a mind of their own, and you know, you could put the TVIX on your watch list for some day trades. Obviously, now that the market's rebounded, the chart's just more choppy. You know, you get like one hot day and then it just bleeds. Remember that the longer term effective TVIX is down, right? So like split adjusted, this was $2 million, but it basically just goes down all the time, right? So unless there's like a market crash, you know, the TVIX doesn't work as well. So you'll have to see how the trend sets and then just be wary that like you're really kind of in a suction zone over there. And it's probably easier to use the VIX chart, but same thing, right? It's just kind of like in this suction zone. So it's never as fun as when the market was originally crashing. You can keep them on your watch list for short scalps and stuff like that. Just remember, I would have married this thing, right? It's a day trader. Yeah, I think, Josh, that the NVIDIA pre-announced their earnings because they knew it was going to be, they knew it was going to be so bad. Hold on, let me grab a little coffee. And we got the new Apple Watch. Is it any different than the old one? Hold on, let me get a little fluffer. Yeah, OSTK is pretty nice too. You actually had a volume pop on it. A big one on Friday. Putting that on my list. Good one, Amy. Yeah, let's add OSTK too. This thing, when it moves, it really moves. Good find. All right, so let's talk about the rest of this. Labu is another one it's getting dusted pre-market, but if it starts a rebound, I do like the daily chart. JD, 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, 4 tests at that 24. We'll see if it breaks over. Huya came out of this flag pattern. Man, it was sick for at least 1 hour yesterday. And it's sidelined, but it's got a good mover. XS2, you got flat top breakout over here. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. You got the 9 EMA cruising right up under it, which usually leads to, right, a big push. Now, the thing is, how do you digest this gap down, right? Because of the NVIDIA earnings, everything is pushing down. And so what you have to see is, how does it react around to support? And then do you start to see those signs of rebounding on smaller term time frames before it pushes back higher, right? And if it doesn't, it doesn't. We don't necessarily know how the market's going to react. All we know is that the market's been strong as all get up the last couple weeks, and we do have to respect that. Data is another one that you got a triple tapper breakout over here. So you got 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. This thing looks like it wants to bust out the all-time highs based on its weekly chart. Has actually a pretty good look to it. We'll see how it digests, you know, in the end. I know a lot of you guys are looking at this AVC, a bunch of degenerates over here. No, I'm just kidding. So this one you can put on your watch list. I didn't see what the PR was. It might just be moving just to move. Now, one thing I don't like about these type of trades, when they start to go, when they completely collapse, typically the rest of the bounces become dead cat bounces. So like you could see like previous day it bounced like 50% or 40%, and they just kind of came back down. And so you'd really need to make sure that it's gonna hold, and you have you have a really, really good setup. Otherwise, it can just fall back down. Got to remember this day, and this day, right? Just recently this thing started to fall down. So I wouldn't necessarily try to chase this thing up for a long, if it sets up for a long, sure, but, not necessarily, it's not necessarily just a gimme, like, okay, this thing, because it's a low float, it's going to do X, Y, Z. Cool. What else? Yeah, we'll see. I'm not, give or take, we don't necessarily know. Good, 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 good. Let's see what's coming out. Dun, dun, open layout group. There we go. Yeah, so you're still holding up pretty well here, so let's make sure that we got the action. So you got to keep NVIDIA, AMD, pet the cat. Don't forget pet the cat. Those are the gappers for today. Yeah, you can see the SPY's down about 0.8% now, so give or take, it's gonna definitely, you gotta have some opportunities, because you see how you're getting 5%, 3% down. So if the market holds, we'll get good shots at some red to greens. And even if it doesn't, who gives a shit, right? We'll short away. Just got to wait out about that first 5, 10, 15 minutes, right? You got to see which way the market's going to go. You can't predict it necessarily. Let it gap down, and then we'll start looking for signs on a short-term basis. If we rebound, good. We come in, and we take our watch list, and we go red to green. If we don't rebound, that's totally fine. We'll go in balls deep on the short, and we can go TVIX lifestyle. So that's the game plan for today. Guys, thanks for everybody for coming in the webinar last week. I know we had a little bit of fun. I think class starts tomorrow, so I'll see most of you guys. In class tomorrow. We got a nice boot camp planned as always, with always a couple changes and fun stuff like that. I'll be in the Bulls on Wall Street chat room, shredding and trading as always. Hasta mañanas.